All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started because I have a lot of information to share with you in a short amount of time. For those of you who attended yoga last night, who got a good night's sleep?
I mean, the sleep I got was good because of you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. The video is up on my YouTube channel at Kella Price Fitness, so feel free to share that with any of your breast cancer survivor friends. You can rewatch it and do it at home if you want to repeat a good night's sleep. Did everyone get the recipe card last night off the table? I'll pass those around, as well as my cards. Yes.
Next to the dates.
There's a what?
An asterisk next to the dates, the major dates. What? It don't explain what the asterisk makes. How many put your mind away?
It's a
So
little early for those kind of questions.
you can use Medjool is a specific kind of date. You can use other dates. That helps hold the cookies together.
Thank you.
Good question. So we're going to talk about nutrition today. What kinds of nutritional challenges are you having that we can talk about?
Just eating in general. Yeah.
Eating in general, sugar.
I have a hard time with protein. After chemo, everything tastes like cardboard, so protein is really, really hard to get. The majority of my protein I get from powders, and those little Ensure shakes.
Uh-huh.
But I can't get any protein from meat.
Okay, so getting enough protein. We'll talk about that. Who here has a busy schedule? Is busy schedule's a challenge? That's not having an appetite. Okay. So you probably have heard the statement, you are what you eat. And that is so true because your body is creating new cells throughout your body based on the inputs that you give it. And those cells are going to be as strong as the nutrition you put in. So garbage in, garbage out. If you're eating trashy food, the cells that make up your body are going to be trashy. They're not going to be as strong. And for a cancer survivor, that is especially important to be able to fight off the disease in your body. So you want to make sure that you get the best quality nutrition available to you. It's also important to plan for the unexpected because when you're going to doctor's appointments and things always take longer than you expect, right? And if you don't plan for those unexpected delays, you're going to get hangry. And that's when most people falter on good eating because they get the quickest thing available, like what's in the vending machine or what's in the gas station or going to a fast food outlet. And there are healthy options at gas stations and at fast food, but generally speaking, most people are not going to select those right off, especially when you're particularly hungry. But it's also important, especially going through your treatments, to make sure that you're eating enough calories to maintain your energy and also ward off not just the cancer cells, but other things that you come in contact with, germs and sickness that are going around. So I try to make it easy to eat healthy. When we're looking at our plate of food, a lot of times we'll use a plated method versus macros or measuring things out. That gets too complicated. We'll try to shoot for half of that plate being your vegetables, and then a quarter of that plate being your protein, and a quarter of that plate being your fiber-filled carbohydrates, your healthy carbs.
So what size plate?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
So I usually recommend using a smaller plate. Most dinner plates are like ginormous, right?
Like 12, 13
And
inches.
so a lot of my cancer clients honestly don't have trouble with overeating because of the change in not enjoying food because you don't have a sense of taste or your taste buds have changed. So it's not usually an issue, but if you're concerned about overeating, a smaller plate, going for like the appetizer size plate and loading that up is beneficial. And generally speaking, if you're eating vegetables, it's as many as you want, as long as they're not slathered in butter. You're going to get some great nutrition from those things, and I snack on those pretty regularly. Also encouraging 1 to 2 servings of fruit every day and 1 to 2 servings of what we consider our healthy fats, our avocado, black olives, or olives are a good example, nut butters, seeds, low-fat cheeses. Those would be important for your diet as well. So let's talk about some of the specific concerns that we mentioned. Specifically, we'll start with the protein. Generally speaking, red meat becomes very difficult. It's hard to digest anyhow. A lot of times we'll encourage more of a fish-based diet for some of those proteins. Fish didn't work for you? Okay, so that becomes a challenge. We can get our proteins from vegan sources as well. The beans are a good source of protein. Things like tempeh and what else? Your nut butters have protein. Tempeh is like a soy-based.
But it's not processed soy, it's made from
Yeah.
lots of different beans and grains, and they're basically like processed together, and it comes in like a cube.
Yeah.
And
Like
you
tofu.
It's kind of like
yeah, it's like
tofu.
tofu.
Okay, I just never heard.
Yeah. So there is a whole list of vegan-based proteins that you could use to help supplement powders and things like that. If there are proteins that you enjoy, previously it's always recommended to make those meals that you really like, make a few of them and freeze them, and then when you're feeling good, bring one out and enjoy something that you really like. As an example, to address that. What else?
Legumes.
Yes, legumes, the beans, any kind of bean.
I'm trying to think, what's that one bean? Oh,
I eat-
quinoa's high in protein.
Yeah,
The grain quinoa.
quinoa,
Is
the
it
ancient
rice?
grain. I also use quinoa instead of oatmeal because I'm allergic to oats. Quinoa is a great protein source that you can throw on top of a salad as well. Cottage cheese. Lentils are also really good, and there are actually pastas made with lentils now. Some grain-free pastas. Not all grain-free pastas are created equal. I've tried just about all of them, and I finally found a couple that my family is willing to eat, so that I don't have to make 2 pots of pasta. Yeah.
The heart of pasta from Trader Joe's is good.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
and I can't find it at Trader Joe's.
I've got,
We can't hear you.
do you guys have grocery outlets anywhere? Okay, it's a West Coast thing probably, but they have a lot of our home products in the
And they also call me, right? Jennifer's part of my daughter.
grocery outlet.
She's a must be.
So it's no secret that your taste buds do change with the chemicals going in your body, and things are going to taste kind of weird, and it impacts your appetite. But it's also important to eat, so small meals are always best. And if you're feeling good, eat. Try to eat a good hearty meal then when you're feeling good. If you have, I always recommend my clients do a food journal to document not only what they're eating, so that if you're working with a nutritionist like myself or a dietitian, you can take that in and say, this is what I'm eating. But it also gives you the opportunity to notate on there. You could include information on where you're at in your cycle, notating how your body responds to eating the different things. Like, I ate this and I got sick, and you can track trends. Generally speaking, things that are have less seasoning and less general flavor are going to be easier for you to digest. But eating those smaller meals throughout the day are usually a better option, especially if you're going through waves of illness, so that you're not eating and having a great meal and then you get sick and associate that negative vomiting with something that you thought was really good. So that's also a good strategy, eating smaller meals. But if you know that you typically get sick at a certain time of the day or a certain period of time, try to eat your meal further away from that particular period to minimize any kind of adverse reaction to specific foods. Other questions so far? Yes.
How do you change your mindset about eating?
What is your mindset? And
Well, I mean, okay, when people see fluffy people, they just automatically assume they eat too much all the time. I can go days without eating. It doesn't bother me. If I want, I just.
okay, so this is not uncommon for women in general to think like eating less food equates to skinnier body, right? I am not at my thinnest right now, but when I was doing fitness competitions, I was eating more food than I ever had before. And so part of the mindset is getting over thinking restrictive. A diet should not be restrictions. It should be fueling your body with good things so you feel better and you can do more things. So it can be counterintuitive to think, oh, I have to eat more. And if someone says they can go days without eating, or I only need to eat one meal a day, it makes it challenging for your metabolism to process your food more quickly, which can actually lead to a higher weight, because if you're not eating all the time, your body goes into self-preservation mode, right? So it's holding that food and it's going right into storage, and your body's metabolism slows because you're not eating enough food. And so it's like, I need to eat food so I can survive.
It's like caveman.
Yes, like caveman. And if you've done that for a long period of time, it can take a while for your body's metabolism to really kick in. You kind of have to trust the process. But the same thing can happen going through cancer treatments. If you're not eating enough food, your body can go into that slower metabolism because it's trying to conserve the food input that you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah. since I've been doing this, since I was 17 when I first had my surgery, when I first diagnosed, when I first had my surgery, and it's been like that. Since I have to go against, or somebody has to tell me, did you eat one? Now I have, this year, I have accountability partners who ask me every day, what did you eat? Because I will not eat. I'll wake up, get some coffee, or get some water, and one of the things is the protein shakes to try to drink one of those in the morning. But that makes me sick. So it's like, okay, work on that and just try to like figure something. I'm trying really, really hard, but I just don't think about eating it. That's the last thing on my agenda.
Set
Okay.
alarms on your phone.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm a health
totally
coach too,
was
so I'm
gonna say
just keep my mouth shut.
is definitely set alarms for food and snacks, just like you set alarms for taking medication, or you set alarms. I set alarms for when I have to leave the house and when I have to pick up something, or when I have an appointment. I set 5 or 10 minute alarm warnings.
Cancer patient.
But setting those alarms to schedule those meal times and putting them on your calendar, like a non-negotiable, just like you would with exercise. This is when I need to sit down and eat. This is when I need to do this. Meal prep can also help you in that, because there are going to be days that you don't feel like cooking or eating, or you don't just have the energy, you barely have the energy to warm something up in the microwave or on the stove. So if you plan out the meals and you can put them in the freezer, you have things ready to reheat, or quick things in the refrigerator that you can grab and munch on. Planning out those meals takes out the guesswork of opening the refrigerator, what am I going to eat? Right? So you can sit down, and what I do with my family is we look at our family calendar of what we have planned for that particular week, what meetings, sporting events, things like this that I'm out of the house, and we have conversations about, okay, what meals are we gonna have for dinner? This night, nobody's gonna be home, so it's a leftover night. This night, I'm gonna be out late, so the kids need to cook. Boys, what do you wanna cook for dinner? And we write our meal plan based on that, and things that we can prep in advance make it a lot easier, so when you get home and you're tired, you can eat something still healthy, because it takes out the guesswork and some of the preparation time. That was a great question.
My issue is I'm just not hungry. Period. I mean, I have alarms, I have snacks, like I keep almonds and fruit and stuff by my desk, and I might snack on those, but and that's what I force myself to. I'm just not hungry.
Are you not hungry because you're sick to you're nauseous, or you're not hungry, just not hungry?
Just not hungry, not hungry. I know for me, part of it is I'm on Ozempic. So part of it is that. But even before the Ozempic, I was like, I can go for days, I'm just not hungry.
So that's where your perspective needs to be.
Okay, so they just don't eat, I'm not hungry.
That's where your perspective, your mindset should be. I need food as fuel. It doesn't necessarily have to be this enjoyable thing that, because if your taste is off, it's not necessarily going to be as enjoyable anyhow. But your body needs that fuel, so you need to eat something.
And I force myself to, like I bought that toddler plate that has the portion things, and that's pretty much what I will force myself for dinner at home. Also, because my husband has gotten to where to force him to eat, he won't eat until I eat with him. Because there's plenty of times I'll cook and I'm like, so now he's gotten where you're gonna eat and I'm not eating until you eat with me. Because you know I won't eat.
That's sweet.
No, it's because I won't eat. I won't eat.
Family meal times are really important. That's kind of that accountability thing.
Yeah.
You just have to train your body that it needs to stop at the gas station and put gas in the car.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Now
So,
I where, you know, the toddler plate is helping me a little.
yeah.
Lunchtime is still my hardest. The midday I'm really like, you know. Like the morning I force myself to eat because I have to take medication. But it does make me sick. And so by lunchtime I'm sick and I just don't want to eat. Period. I'm not hungry at all. And then dinner is my husband who forces me to
protein bars really helped me with my weight loss. And granted, it's not always good to get your protein from a bar, but I was at least getting something in me.
There are protein bars that are healthy out there, or you can work with a local chef that makes them, or if you get motivated or you have kids, you could make the protein bars yourself. Yeah, I love the protein balls. I keep those in the freezer and pop them in. But another strategy, if you're not feeling like eating, try to pick things that are aromatic to eat, because the smell will help stimulate, if you have your sense of smell, will help stimulate that that hunger as well. Another thing is, if you're not really feeling like eating, sometimes the protein shakes, I know some of you said you have tried those and those have been successful and others have not, but protein shakes are a great way to get those calories in without actually eating. Most people can tolerate a shake more than actually
I
eating.
can't tolerate shakes, it's a texture thing.
Yes.
But what I do is, I got one of those little dashes, the little mini waffle thing, it's like $10. And if I just put a little bit of liquid in it, I can make a little waffle thing and eat it. And I can get that down.
And get some fruit with it.
But, cause I don't know, I'm just a texture thing, I can't do shakes. So
Any kind of shake, or
it's like, if it's thick like a really frozen milkshake, I'm okay. But if it's like thin, like I don't like milk. But it was just a little bit less liquid. It makes like a dough kind of thing, and I'll just make a little waffle and eat it. And so I'm getting that protein. Sometimes I'll put little egg whites in it just to wet it enough to cook it that way. And anyway, if anyone else is like me and has a hard time with shakes, that was
so I would encourage you to try different types of shakes and putting different things in, because that would change the texture. Like if you put, for example, avocado in a shake, it makes it very creamy. Certain types of vegetables make it a different texture. My kids like theirs with milk and ice, and we blend it up and it tastes like a milkshake. I don't like milk in mine, but you can add things like, if you like it to be chewy and add some more calories, you can put peanut butter and oats in there, and that really beefs up the calorie count in a shake by those add-ins. Adds to the nutrition.
Another thing with the little waffles is, when I do them, I'll do a whole bunch at once and put them in the freezer, and then you can almost toast it like an Eggo thing, just for quick, for like those times you need some protein but you don't have the time.
Absolutely.
That's just something.
So making the waffles is a great idea, because you can, even when I'm making my kids love breakfast in the morning, but cereal's not the best choice. So we like to make pancakes and waffles, and I'll actually make them with protein powder, add a scoop or two of that in there, and I'll make a whole bunch and I freeze them with a parchment paper like Paulette said, and then they actually do put them in the toaster or the microwave in the morning as a quick grab and go
You can take it with
snack.
you and eat.
It works for me.
I do that with the egg whites.
Yes, you can make basically like dessert cookies with protein powder. A lot of times they'll have chia seeds in there, which is a great source of fiber, a flaxseed. Sometimes they'll have dates in them, which is a good binder, a fruit binder. Oats. It just depends. And protein powder, sometimes they have nuts. I have one that I make that tastes like an Almond Joy that has almond nut butter, chocolate protein powder, shaved coconut, chopped up nuts, and then you roll it in
I might need that recipe.
coconuts.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my jam.
You can message me and I'll send you a recipe.
Okay.
I
For those.
think that sounds like a great protein
Yes.
shake.
Yeah.
I never thought about it.
You can add all kinds of fun things in
Yeah.
to make it taste like a dessert. If you feel like you want something sweet, it doesn't have to be a high in refined sugar, because remember, cancer feeds on sugar. So trying to reduce sugar and getting that sugar fix from natural types of sugar are going to be better for your body, and try to reduce some of that refined, processed, artificial sugars that you find in over-the-counter stuff.
Paula, you were talking about consistency. One of my friends who had a lot of GI problems last year, her son turned on to this, a company is called TrueNutrition.com, and you can mix it up with coffee and tea. You can't taste it. You can actually go in and decide what you want. And I didn't realize, yes, coffee for you. Whey protein makes my stomach bloat. So I use a pumpkin protein that they have. It has, you can add, they have different kind of things you can add for alternative, like sweet. I don't like sweet, so I get all unsweetened. But you did the one with sweet, right?
No, it's not sweet, it's
Flavor. But they have like chocolates that do it. They have mushrooms. I did a pumpkin. They have these different mushrooms. Literally, you can sit there for 2-3 hours and figure out what it is you like or don't like. But when you use it in coffee, I don't taste anything. It doesn't have that sludgy kind of. You said coffee is not protein.
That was it. That was it. Okay.
She said, got it.
There's lots of things available out there, and I would encourage you to read the labels. So if it has things on the label that you can't pronounce, you probably don't want it in your body.
What if you're like a really good reader? Because I've read since I was like a year old, and I can pronounce everything.
What we're looking for, like, you know.
It's not a word you find in a regular novel.
Yeah. And I don't have any, I could run downstairs probably and grab something off the counter and look, but generally we'll use tortilla chips as an example, because my family loves chips, but I'm not gonna buy the ones that have like 30 ingredients and half of them are like scientific names of fake things. So when my kids know if they're shopping with me, they bring me the chip bag that is like corn,
Yes.
sunflower oil, salt,
Right.
or like very simple ingredients that you can pronounce, and they'll say this one doesn't have any artificial colors, and like I can read everything in this, and those are the things that you're looking for.
Just that little phrase always made me mad because I was like, but I can read it.
So if you don't know
But
what it is.
what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we know what's in it.
That's my issue too, because y'all know I read everything.
So let's talk a little bit about carbohydrates.
That's what my issue is.
So carbohydrates aren't necessarily bad, but it's the type of carbohydrates that you eat that is the issue. So we want to focus on those fiber-filled carbohydrates. Even things like an apple has carbohydrates in it as part of the macros, and that's totally okay. It's the ones that are the processed grains and bread that becomes the problem. So we want to say yes to carbohydrates like whole grains, root vegetables, and beans. Say no to things like white bread, pasta, chips, pastries, those highly processed foods. So we talked a little bit about meal planning. We want to make a plan or plan to fail. Plan those snacks. I keep snacks in my car. I call them my emergency snacks because when I am traveling and things, I never know. Sometimes I show up at an event and there's nothing I can eat or want to eat because it will upset my stomach. So having a backup plan or asking in advance, what is going to be served? Can I request a special meal? And if you can't, plan to bring something for yourself or eat before you go. so that you have something that follows your nutrition restrictions. So the things I keep in my car as emergency snacks are things like minimally processed, like beef jerky, protein shake in a shaker cup. I can go to any gas station and get water and ice and have an emergency meal. I've actually mixed it with just one of my water bottles in a pinch, and no ice. Sunflower seeds, the little apple juice or apple sauce packages, dried fruit, things that are non-perishable so that you can leave them in your car for a while and it's not going to be funky. And then if I'm traveling during the day, I'll take things like fresh fruit, rolled up turkey, maybe a mozzarella cheese stick, some other things that are perishable but easy to eat on the go. Cherry tomatoes, spinach. I eat spinach out of a container all the time as a snack. Like people would eat chips, I eat lettuce. I take it with me. So just having those things available to you makes it easier for you to eat those snacks either on your time schedule or when your body says, I'm hungry over here. Yes.
I have peanut allergy, but I do the sunflower seed butter.
Mhm.
Is that good too?
I do, yes. I do that, yeah. Again, not everything is created equal. Like peanut butter, nut butters can be good for you, but now there's a lot of them, they're putting xylitol in it as an artificial sweetener. You want to get the one that is like peanuts and salt.
That's right.
Some of them are you have to stir up, and I put it in my food processor to kind of mix it up and then put it back in the jar. Or you can go to the store. Some of the stores now have the almond nuts and the peanut butter that you actually make it fresh in the little container. So those types of things are going to be better for you. And if you have specific concerns about something that you're eating, if you're working with a dietitian, you can get their counsel or a nutritionist. Most doctors, I have more nutrition background than them. They get like one class in their entire degree program, and so they don't know what to even tell you to eat. And if you look at a lot of doctors, it's evident that they don't know what to eat because they're overweight. So I would encourage you to be an advocate for yourself and ask the questions and get with someone who can advocate and help you fact find. There may be things that we don't recommend you eat. Like if you like spicy food, that's not always good, with your treatment. Trying to make adjustments or changing the way that you prepare something so you can still have something that you used to enjoy. Or if you, for example, have a sweet tooth and you know the sugar is bad for you, you like a certain type of food, finding ways to make it healthier using different ingredients, but not sacrificing the flavor. My kids are Mexican and they love chorizo. Well, chorizo's not really that great for you.
Chorizo is delicious.
So I don't eat soy, so it's one of my allergens. So I make ground turkey with the seasoning to make it taste like chorizo without all the grease and the things, and my family loves it. So there are ways to get around to make things that you can still enjoy, like some of your favorite foods. Sometimes need just a little bit of modification to make them a better, healthful choice. Some things when we talked about meal prep and having a calendar with your family and planning out kind of what is going to be made and trying to make some things in advance. And that's a great time to get your kids involved in the process or your spouse, because people are more likely to eat things that they've helped prepare, but it also teaches them life skills, right? So my kids, I know that they're not going to starve when they're 18 and they leave the house, because they're all boys and they like to eat, but they also know how to cook. So that's important. So some of the things that we pre-prepare, we pick a specific day, and our day isn't usually Sunday because that's a church day. My husband's off on Friday, so we typically have our family meeting on like Thursday and talk about the schedule for the next week. Friday we do our grocery shopping, and then we'll do the meal prep on Saturday, because that's what works for us. It doesn't matter which day of the week that you pick. And I spread it out because I find it too fatiguing to do everything on one day. So we make our grocery list from the calendar to take to the shopping, and now with the shopping that you can do online and just pick up the groceries, that makes it really easy, because I find that we eat some of the same things almost every week. So that facilitates getting the shopping done without expending a lot of energy. But we cook or pre-marinate the meat on prep day. We cook our beans and quinoa and rice for the week on that prep day, so it's ready to go. Prep any raw veggies like cut up carrots and celery. If we're gonna do a stir fry, I might cut up the squash and things. There's certain things that I don't cut in advance, like peppers, cucumber, tomatoes, because I feel like they start to degrade after a couple days. But if you can do some of it in advance, it facilitates the process. And for my family, living with a house full of men, unless it's like ready to go and it's in their face, sometimes they open their refrigerator and there's nothing to eat in here.
All we have is ingredients.
So,
I don't care what gender, that's just kids.
so having the things like ready to go, and if you have kids or are gonna have a busy week, you can pre-package like your carrots and celery in little baggies with your hummus is another thing that I like to make at home, because it freezes beautifully, and we put it in smaller containers, bless you, so that you can take it out the night before and it defrosts in the refrigerator, and then you can put in whatever flavor that you want without. For some reason, they put canola oil in a lot of the cheap hummuses at the store, and I'm allergic to canola oil, so I either have to read the minuscule ingredients list on all the things or make it myself. Hard boiling eggs, I do that by the dozen, and I actually peel them. So that you just can take it out of the bag, grab and go, and my kids will eat them like that. If I don't peel them, they'll sit in there and nobody will eat them because they don't want to peel. 5 or 6 days. Yeah.
With the peel?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Anything that you prep, it should only last a week. Some of the things are more like 5 days, like black beans. I only cook about 5. If I have that on my menu, I try to make it earlier in the week, because if you wait too long, they get, you can also pre-make items that can be reheated. We talked about the waffles and the pancakes, but also like small omelet cups. If you like eggs, you can put them in little muffin tins, or even if you make a frittata and you can wrap the pieces separately, or just slice them so you can scoop it out and reheat it. Those are great things to make in advance to make it easy and portion it ready to go. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is hydration, because water is so important. Our body has a high percentage of water, and water helps flush out toxins from the body. So if you're not drinking enough water, you have things sitting in your body that you don't want.
Everyone's grabbing their water then.
Oh, yeah. So we want to drink more water. It promotes cardiovascular health. It helps keep your body cool. We already talked about detoxification. It improves your brain function. There's scientific tests about this. Yes? Oh, yeah. So they did studies in students at school. They tested them with properly hydrated and then dehydrated, and the kids that were properly hydrated performed better. So my kids always say water makes you smart. Because it actually does. Your brain, if you think about all the fluid in your brain, it's like a sponge. Your brain is literally like a sponge. And what happens if you put a sponge out on the counter and it dries up? It gets hard and like not pliable. And when it's hydrated, it expands and it works a lot better. So your brain will work better when you're properly hydrated. It helps your muscles and joint function, better skin, aids in weight loss, aids in digestion, and there have been research studies that it helps protect your body from cancer because, again, it's flushing radical cells out of your body. Improves your mood, helps organ and cell function, and improves your mood and energy levels. So the next question people have is like, how much water do I need to drink?
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
So
initially you're gonna feel like it's waterlogged, and sometimes I have clients that come to me and like, I don't drink any water. And so, yeah, so we have to work up to that amount, and as you are building up to that, you may feel like you're bloated or uncomfortable until your body realizes, oh, I can release the water out. So we want half of our body weight in ounces. If you live in a dry, desert, or humid climate, you want to add 16 ounces. If it's over 90 degrees, you want to add 16 ounces. And on days that you exercise, add 8 ounces for every 15 to 20 minutes of exercise. So for most people, that's about a gallon of water. And I usually carry a jug with me, because I find if you carry the water with you, you're gonna drink it, right? In the winter time, I usually carry a cup larger than this with hot water to encourage me to drink. Instead of coffee or tea, you drink the hot water with lemon. Okay, we're about out of time, but I want to entertain the last question.
My family and I got these bottles. They're called circle bottles, and it's water with this little flavor cartridge that is worth 5 20-ounce bottles of water. And the cartridges have really no sugar, no calories, no artificial flavors, and work. I fill that thing up many times a day.
So, yeah, something that has flavor, if you're transitioning, trying to get off soda, I recommend carbonated water. You can also infuse your water with fruit, or like things like cucumber to make it taste better, to help with the transition. It doesn't have to be just plain water.
but I do a lot of
Lauren, is this for the wig?
high water content.
Okay.
Fruit too.
Yes, yes. Fruits and vegetables are a supplement. You can get some water from that, but we want to try to increase our water content. Any other questions?
I drink so much.
At home, I have a big Stanley, and I just fill it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I did record this session, so if you didn't write something down and you want to try to review it, hopefully it captured some of the comments from all of you as we were chatting. And I'll also put that on my YouTube channel for you.
Go subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you.